Hey guys, welcome back to the channel with more Euphoria. This is episode 4, and I'm excited to see how a lot of things progress this episode. With Rue trying to get clean, going to Ali, no longer... That interaction with her and Fez last episode was just masterful, but also really painful to watch. Fez feels guilty as hell. And then we have Rue and Jules kissing, or Rue kissing Jules. And it'll be interesting to see how their relationship changes after that. And meanwhile, Jules is in love with Shy Guy 118, or falling in love. And it's not a great situation because he's actually Nate, and when they meet up, it's gonna be bad. I don't know. I'm a little afraid for her safety, definitely. So yeah, gonna see what happens there. We also have a lot of little different storylines going on here with Kat and her cam girling. Is that the verb for that? Cam girling? And then we have Cassie and McKay hooking up. Cassie endeared herself so much to me last episode when she drank the fish along with McKay. That was just so sweet and such a great moment. But I'm excited to find out what happens next on this show. If you want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. We're also one episode ahead over there as well, so check it out, and let's get started.
I'm gonna fucking rape you, Dr. K.
You just bought yourself another 30 minutes in the quiet room, Jesse.
I think I want to go home. And that's when Jules realized this wasn't a tour at all.
Mom! No, 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 no! 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 No!
Jesus.
Jules hated herself. She hated how her brain worked. She hated her body. Not every part. Just her shoulders, her arms, and her hands. Also her chest, her stomach, her thighs. Her knees were the worst. Plus her ankles. And her big fucking stupid feet.
Wait, can you leave me the rest?
Sure.
I don't know that that's a good idea. Oh, no, 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 no.
I'm so sorry. Please don't be mad at me.
By 13, she started to transition. And by 16, Jules had gotten a little slutty. And every guy was the same. And always.
I mean, I'm 100% straight.
Cool.
Their fragile masculinity.
I guess that hanging out with her was the best thing that's happened to me in a while. So.
Does the way in which you feel about her remind you of anything? The obsession, the feelings, the withdrawal?
What, like drugs?
Bingo.
He's arguing that Jules is bad for her?
You wanna go on the grab truck? No. The Ferris wheel? Nope. Why? Because I don't wanna die. Where are you?
It's a Ferris wheel, guys.
Go home, get changed, and come back looking like a person. Fuck.
Hi. I missed you.
Miss you too.
You guys like in a relationship?
No, we just chilling.
Are you just chilling?
Really?
Chilling.
Really?
You just told me that we're not even in a fucking relationship.
That's because I know the guy. He's just gonna talk shit. It's not like it's that big of a fucking secret, Cassie.
Don't...
Welcome to Pretzel Mania. Can I take your order? How many pretzels do you want?
We don't eat carbs. 2, please. Have you gone through his phone? I've never not gone through someone's phone.
Really?
Bitch, you're my soulmate.
Oh
Thank you.
my god.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
That's him.
Who?
The one from the motel.
Okay, what are we looking at?
Okay, the one in the apron serving the chili.
Nate Jacobs' dad.
That's Nate's dad?
That's Nate's dad.
No fucking
Yes,
way!
fucking way. You're full of shit.
No way!
Full of shit.
You don't believe me?
No. Actually, I don't.
Okay, watch.
Just don't put yourself in that situation. Oh, Jesus.
Hi. Can I help you?
Could I please have a small cup of chili?
Oh. Shoot. Sorry.
Yeah, Rue. Yeah. Oh, jeez. And he's seeing Rue as well. Holy crap. This is not a good situation at all. Oh, he's...
Why the fuck did you let me do that?
Let you do that? You just did it. You went over there and you did it. Oh, he dropped the fucking chili, and then you looked at me.
Yeah, because I was screaming inside.
Yeah, well, that made him fucking look at me.
This is like playing out like a horror movie. What the...
Apparently.
Just tell your sister I really need her to cover my shift on Wednesday.
Isn't it perfect? Oh, sarcastic clap.
But I just wanted to say congratulations.
Maddie, get out of here.
Is this in her head?
What in God's name is your problem? You cunt.
Is this really happening right now? What the heck? This whole thing is so trippy.
What's wrong with your fucking
Wow.
brain?
Overreacting.
You're fucking dead to me. I have to use the bathroom.
Oh no. Oh, he's gonna...
How
Man,
old are you?
16.
told the truth. And yet, he's still... Oh, God. Fuck. This is just like a bad decision buffet.
Gia, get the fuck up and let's go. I'm not playing with you, let's go.
For real, when'd you become such a bitch?
Excuse me?
Was it after you fucking OD? Yeah, let's hope you don't get addicted again. All I'm saying is, if I were you, I wouldn't be taking advice from her.
Ah, oh, fuck. Shit.
Look, I know you have the power to ruin my life right now. I'm begging you, pleading with you. Please don't.
Oh. I thought he came here to
I'll do whatever you want me to do.
threaten and hurt her.
It won't be a thing. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fuck. Oh no, 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 no! God, the show.
Did you come?
No. Oh, jeez. You still want to be with this guy? Oh, shoot.
No.
I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not the person that you met that night.
Can you let go of me?
I feel closer to you than I do to anyone in the whole world.
I don't trust you, Nate.
I don't trust you either.
What the What the hell? Oh, Jesus.
Nate, stop.
You're so broken, you don't even trust yourself. And that's scary. Not just for you, but for me. Over the last 3 weeks, you have knowingly produced and distributed child pornography, including obscene images that were taken on school property. I've compiled all these photos.
What the
along with an IP address and an account that's linked to your name. You'd end up on a sex offenders list. You'll be harassed and spat at and treated like a fucking animal. You deserve better than that. Don't try to ruin my life. And I won't have to ruin yours.
I think you're a fucking faggot just like your daddy.
You have a nice night.
He didn't look like his picture.
That's all you're gonna say? Wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. This show, what the fuck? That was a beautiful last scene. Prefaced by the scariest scene. Nate freaking knew all along, and he was just... I guess I should have known. Just the fact that he used Tyler's name. Fuck. I'm gonna lower the volume a little bit so I can think. This was just... The carnival brought out the worst in every single person ever. That's actually really nice. Never watched past the credits. Alright guys, this episode was just ridiculous. I mean, I was tense like the entire episode. Everybody was making such bad decisions. Oh man. But yeah, let's touch on some lighter stuff first that didn't have my heart rate up that much. First with McKay being asked, oh, you guys in a relationship? And he's like, nah, we just chilling. Really, man? Oh. Like, caring more about what other people think than your own partner's feelings. Lost a lot of respect for him. Honestly, Cassie would have been justified just breaking up with him for that. But unfortunately, she wound up taking drugs, and I think without the drugs, she probably wouldn't have cheated on McKay. But everything just made a bad situation even worse. And interestingly enough, the guy's name is Daniel. Kat's ex-boyfriend we saw last episode was also named Daniel, but granted we saw him at a very young age. It looks like they could be the same person though. Probably. I'm guessing most likely it is. Speaking of Kat, she got the complete wrong idea about what Ethan was doing. And earlier in the episode before that happened, I was just like, I'm not entirely sure I trust Ethan just yet. Like, I don't know. Everybody in this show, I don't trust almost anybody in this show because they're just, ugh. I mean, everybody's lying, right? I feel like, has anybody in this show not lied? Yeah, I feel like almost everybody has. At least all the teenagers have. Um, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, what's this guy's deal? But he didn't deserve to get like just ghosted like that. Or he didn't. Cat got the complete wrong idea about what was going on. Yeah, he does nothing wrong and gets kind of screwed. But then, yeah, Kat goes to sleep with this guy who graduated from their school a couple years ago, and she says she's 16, and the guy's just like, huh, okay. Like, that's just... I thought her not lying about her age would lead to this not working out, but he just gets more interested, it seems like, which... Yikes. Like, why... Like, what was the point of asking if he was just gonna do it anyway? But then Kat telling the guy she came and then walking away when she very obviously didn't. That was really just something. Her confidence is at a different level. It's just really interesting. But yeah, this episode, man, like a carnival is like the perfect setting for all of this chaos to go down. For those of you who've watched Stranger Things, the most recent episode of Stranger Things, that carnival episode was really great too. Yeah, I feel like if I get around to writing my book or novel or whatever, that carnival scene would make a lot of sense, just because it's just such a good setting. But yeah, it was such a beautiful moment though when Jules and Rue just kind of went to each other when they saw each other, and like nothing was ever wrong and nothing could ever be wrong. It was really sweet. And we also had Gia off doing drugs. On the way there, her friend was like talking about how Gia's organic food diet is making her breasts not develop, and I'm like she said she needed like regular crap and like milk. Like, is this pseudoscience or is this actually a thing? I've never heard of this before. But yeah, Gia, she realized like this isn't the crowd she wants to hang around with when Thing 1 or Thing 2 was just like, oh, like, when did you become such a mom to Rue? Like, was it when you OD'd? She's just like, oh, this is not the type of people I want to be around, which, she's also doing drugs though, so mom would not be happy about that if Rue didn't cover for her. I thought Rue was gonna like, I don't know, get herself in trouble but thankfully she didn't have to do that. And I mean, there's some cognitive dissonance going on there with her sister ODing and her having some Gia having some trauma from that, but then still deciding to do some drugs. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how the family dynamic has worked after Rue OD'd. But I guess I started talking about the more serious stuff, but onto the more like, oh my god, my heart is racing kind of serious stuff. We see Jules as a child being tricked into being locked up in an asylum, a psychiatric hospital, and her mother was the one to do it, but I mean, she couldn't have done it without the father's approval. It was so hard to watch. I mean, like on the way to the facility, before Jules even knew she was going to be staying there, she wrote the word help on her window, and it was interesting because right after that, Ali was talking to Rue about how addicts don't come for help unless they really need it. But yeah, it's somewhat unrelated, but there's like a connection there that they're trying to make. I feel like it's like two very different situations, but they both were in places where they needed help at one point. But yeah, I didn't actually think it was an asylum at first. First, the therapist got her to trust him. She only realized like an hour later she hadn't lied once, which means lying was a central part of how she interacted with people, and that she didn't trust many people, which is interesting. I feel like that probably still is the case. And yeah, I said I didn't think it was an asylum at first. I actually thought Jules's parents mistook her being trans as being gay and like try to put her in conversion therapy. But I mean, both are horrible. Like I'm not even gonna compare how each one, like which one's more horrible. But like, I don't understand what their thinking was. Like being tricked into being locked up by your parents into a psychiatric hospital that like completely terrifies you. That's so traumatic that if you don't already have problems, it would just develop problems. If you have problems, it would get so much worse. Like, what the heck? Oh, that was really hard to watch. And Jules accidentally scratched someone while she was fighting to get out of there, and like they treated her like an animal, like giving her mittens to not scratch. And I mean, she was suffering because she didn't feel at home in her body, and they locked her up for it, like made her disconnected from something that was actually like another part of her that was home, like her home with her family. So Rue eventually said, like, narrates, like, eventually Jules got better and came home. Like, did she get better, or was she forced to pretend to get better so she could get the hell out of there? I mean, Rue is supposed to be omniscient in this. Like, this is, she's talking about the past or something, but I feel like, I don't know if she actually got better, per se. And Rue said her mom got worse and went away. What's that about? Did she have some mental illness, or, I don't know. But yeah, she wound up hurting herself with a can. Jules did, and it was interesting. It was very. She apologized to the caretaker right afterwards, like while she was still bleeding on the floor, which just rings really true. But yeah, it skips forward a bit. She says Jules imagined being with Rue forever, like dating other people, but like sleeping in the same bed together in the future, until she fell in love with Tyler. And she said she's only been attracted to cis white men who were like seemingly very aggressive, like super duper aggressive. And Rue said that they all had this disclaimer that they're 100% straight. And I've actually never thought of that. Like, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of trans people that I talk to, and I don't ask them specifically about things like this. So, like, these cis men will have sex with the trans women because they see it as being a way to sleep with a man without admitting to themselves that they're gay or bi. But, like, Jules is a woman, and it must feel horrible for her. Like, them saying that they're 100% straight, it's like, why would those men need to say that unless they didn't view her as a woman? And I mean, how confusing must that be? Like, to feel like these people aren't fully truthful with who they are and don't fully embrace her identity and then still have sex with them? It's like, am I reading into this wrong? I don't know if any of my audience is trans themselves, but like, it feels like they're like kind of using her and not thinking of her as a woman, but thinking of her as it's just a messed up situation, I feel like. But then, yeah, we skip to Ali's conversation with Rue, and he compares drugs and Jules, telling Rue that, like, didn't drugs feel like a good thing at first? And, like, what about this Jules thing? I think, at first I was like, really? Like, you're trying to compare these two things? And after a while, like, I seem to get it. I think he's warning her off, like, investing in one thing so heavily that it becomes your entire world, so that when you lose that one thing, you don't lose everything. Like, he knows if Rue lost Jules at any one point, she'd spiral so hard back into drugs. And I guess he could also be saying that Rue is using Jules as a crutch to want to get off drugs, and that wanting to get clean for someone else will fall apart, while getting clean for yourself is much more important. Yeah, but then we get to the more violent parts of this episode. I was somehow hoping that Nate's violence wouldn't get visited on the women in the show, but it got so bad. Like, with choking Maddie, at first I thought he was like holding her there, which just wouldn't. It's still really, really bad, but I didn't think he was actually like causing her physical harm. But then threatening and being like violent with Jules, just like, this was the absolute worst case scenario for Nate's character. I felt like maybe he has a line he wouldn't cross because you're not supposed to hit women. But I think this entire time I was watching the show under the assumption that he was falling for Jules too. I didn't know that he was playing her all along. And then he says he has like child pornography laws on her, and that he can get her sent to jail. Man. And then not sent to jail, like, I have her be registered as a sex offender, and that's going to ruin her life, and he's using that to threaten her. It's just such a huge, like, horrible situation. Could not have gone worse for Jules. And then for Maddie, looking in the mirror, seeing that mark, and you can hear her crying. That's I feel really bad for her. And I don't know. I feel hopefully she has the courage to leave him. I'm not entirely sure though. But yeah, this whole episode was such a trip. Like with the chili scene, I was just like, oh, like this is like her pushing over the chili, calling Nate's mom the C word. I was just like, this is like, I didn't realize it was real at first. I was like, oh, she's imagining this. This is all like in her head. But it was real. I was like, holy crap. Apparently the Molly did a huge number on her and also on Cassie, who was pretty much masturbating with the carousel while in public. She didn't realize what she was doing until that's part of the reason why I'm like, I don't think she would have cheated if it wasn't for the drugs. Yeah, a lot of little details that were really interesting though, especially with Fez and Ashtray serving pretzels at the carnival. I haven't talked enough about the freaking Nate and his father though. I was so worried that Nate's father was gonna hurt Jules, and it was such a dumb thing to do to like provoke him like that. Like they weren't provoking him, but to go in front of him like that and force him to kind of confront her. I was so worried that he was coming to like hurt her or threaten her, and when that finally just like stopped, like I realized that he was just scared and he was like begging her not to do anything. I was so relieved, and then like less than a minute later, Nate as Tyler texts her, and at this point I didn't even know he was faking. And there was that scene where she was like riding her bike towards the meeting point, and it was just like a horror movie. The scenery was ridiculous, terrifying, honestly. And yeah, that was, I don't know what's going through. Like at first I thought Nate was being like sincere and like actually into Jules and was trying to, he's like, this is not who I am. Like this is, the person you saw was not who I am. And I don't know if that was just to lull her into like a false sense of security so that something, I don't know, so that it would hurt even more when he like threatened her, and or if he only threatened her because she didn't want to be with him, and then he like kissed her. It was the most disgusting kiss I've seen on TV, honestly. Man. And this whole situation, Jules goes to Rue's place and tells her the problem was that Nate didn't look like what he looked like in the picture, which Shy Guy 118. But then that ending, like this episode, just roller coaster of emotions. That ending was kind of beautiful. It just kept circling over and over again, switching between Rue and Jules in the past and them in the moment. Just beautiful way for them to share their first kiss. I'm slightly worried, given what Ollie said about Jules being bad for Rue, that this might not last and Rue will spiral. I'm just like, please let my children be safe and happy and let the rest of the season just be like them hanging out and having fun. But that doesn't seem likely with what's going on with Nate. And I'm not entirely sure. Does Nate, like, what's his face? Cal was looking through the CDs trying to see if, I don't know, just checking if they were untouched. And I'm not sure. It feels like Nate, I don't know what the look on his face was, if he was just like, oh, everything's fine, nobody's touched it, or if he realized that somebody touched it. And I'm not entirely sure if Nate has seen that video yet. I guess he must have. He stuck the finger, then the throat was like wider, oh my god. I don't know. I don't know if... Man. I appreciate somewhat the way that Jules stood up to him and didn't let herself be powerless in that situation. But I was also like, this is a very, very dangerous situation. Like, I'm honestly just very glad she's not dead, but then there's like so many other things that are going on. Alright guys, my throat is dying. I don't know, I probably have some other stuff to say about this episode, but my throat is dying. Yeah, I just want my friend, my little my Rue and Jules, I want them to be happy. I want all the other characters to be happier. I want Maddie to get out of that abusive situation. Hopefully we get some conclusion, some closure, with some storylines, but we still have half a season left to go. But yeah, if you guys want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. And we're also 1 week ahead over there as well. Be sure to like this video. It really helps out this channel a lot. And I will see you guys next time.